So a while ago, Theory made this video. It was a rant about the budget of Kenobi and how Lucasfilm have been handling Star Wars. And he says a lot of dumb things. The guy does not know what he's talking about half the time.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, the most important Star Wars project since Disney purchased Lucasfilm from George Lucas in 2012. And it gets the lowest budget of any Star Wars show to date.
So, Obi-Wan Kenobi is the most important project since Disney bought Lucasfilm. I'm sure he only thinks this because he's a massive prequel fan. A story in between episode 3 and 4 about Obi-Wan Kenobi is not necessary. And the most important project for Disney would have been the sequel trilogy, not a TV show that isn't a story that needs to be told.
But then you also managed to give literally the worst script of all time, the lowest budget of all time.
Kenobi is not a well-written show, but saying it's the worst script of all time, it's not even the worst script on Disney Plus. Especially not in Star Wars. There are far worse scripted shows, Ahsoka being one of them.
Let's give this script the crappiest script of all time. Let's regress the characters, and then let's give them the lowest budget of the most important story in Star Wars, the most important characters in Star Wars.
And he keeps bringing up the budget. I hate to break it to you, but a larger budget would not magically make the show well written. And let's get something straight. $90 million for a 6-episode series? That is not a small budget. That's plenty of money. The reason Kenobi is bad is not because of the production, it's because of the script. I would argue that the production value of Kenobi is higher than the prequels, which Theory has made videos about defending. He's defended the production of the prequels and the overuse of CGI. And Theory is so pretentious. Just listen to what he says about people who enjoy Andor.
Which, yes, Andor is a great show for everyone who attended film school and wants to eat their cheese with a French hat so they can twiddle their mustache at the same time and talk about the Renaissance era and how great things were back then while they sip on their wine from 1922.
What a fucking dork. It's weird that he thinks Andor is some high art that's only enjoyed by people who go to film school. And he thinks this way because he only cares about the spectacle. That's what he really wants in Star Wars. Spectacle and nostalgia bait. That's what he loves. The nostalgia bait always works on him. He's gonna talk shit about the show, but in the finale, he cried when he saw Qui-Gon Jinn. It brought him to tears. That's how easy he is to manipulate. And he did just talk shit about people who enjoy Andor, but he can't help himself. He has to flip-flop on his opinions.
Okay, don't get me wrong. I liked Andor. I liked it. It was a good show. It was fine. It was cozy. It was also extremely boring and made me fall asleep a million times while I was watching it. But it was still a good show. Whatever, I enjoyed it. Just sleepy time, okay? Like, you want to put to sleep? You watch Andor.
Oh, Andor was so boring I fell asleep. Oh, but it was still a good show. I just fell asleep 1,000 times, but it was still a good show. What a dickhead. And this guy's ego is through the fucking roof. It just gets worse and worse.
I'm here for me, I'm here for Star Wars, George Lucas, and to protect the legacy because, quite frankly, dude, I'm the only one that keeps doing it.
This is something he genuinely believes. He's the only one protecting the legacy. What an absolute fool. Enjoying the majority of the slop that Disney release is not protecting the legacy. Spreading misinformation about the expanded universe is definitely not protecting the legacy, and neither is considering Disney Star Wars real Star Wars.
But I'm literally the only one who keeps driving the point home that Star Wars is what George created. It's not this shit that's been created now.
So according to him, Star Wars is what George created, and not the shit that is being created now. But he still considers Disney Star Wars canon. And George was really involved in the expanded universe. The Clone Wars multimedia project, a lot of the novels, especially the New Jedi Order, which Star Wars Theory has not read and does not consider real Star Wars, which is something that George himself considers part of the original saga.
The original saga was about the father, the children, and the grandchildren. And I mean, that's not a secret to anybody. It's even in the novels and everything.
But to Theory, that's not real Star Wars. That's not canon. And he's the one protecting the legacy. Fuck off.
And given a crap budget so that She-Hulk can shine through as she twerks with Meg the Stallion.
Theory really has no idea what he's talking about. $90 million is plenty of money, especially for a show with only 6 episodes. And does he not understand that the majority of people didn't like She-Hulk and didn't even watch it? It was a huge waste of money, and I'm pretty sure it got cancelled.
I just don't get it, man. How can this $4 billion company be handled by these buffoons who don't even understand the characters, but also assign these nitwits to write for these legendary characters?
Just because Disney bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion does not mean that's what it's still worth. It's probably worth at least 10 times that. And he for some reason thinks Disney is the one handing out these budgets. Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm are the ones who decide the budget for the projects they are producing. So don't complain about Obi-Wan Kenobi having a smaller budget than She-Hulk when that's not up to Disney, that's up to Marvel Studios and Lucasfilm.
And at the same time, give them pennies. But then they want to give She-Hulk the most money.
Pennies. $90 million for 6 episodes. That's worthless. That's pennies. That's a nothing budget. This bald motherfucker is such a retard.
I mean, I feel like we should have paid 20-30 million at least to Hayden, 20-30 million to Ewan.
What a cock jockey. 20-30 million for Ewan and Hayden? Those two guys, whatever they got paid, that's far too much money. Celebrities are already overpaid and you want to give them tens of millions of dollars? $30 million to 2 men who are completely irrelevant outside of Star Wars? What an idiot. And here's another clip. He's talking about people from Lucasfilm, but he's really describing himself and he doesn't even know it.
Because you aren't learning from anything and you're continuously ruling with your ego, and you guys just have no idea what Star Wars is about at the end of the day.
He's not in a position to criticize anyone else's ego.
Yes, I do think I have a very good understanding of what Star Wars is. First 6 films, I think I know it better than pretty much anybody. Clone Wars, I mean, you want to talk about mythology, you want to talk about Star Wars, you want to talk about character arcs, you want to talk about themes, you want to talk about the characters themselves, what they were going through, why they did what they did. You want to talk about force abilities, lightsaber techniques and fighting styles and backstories and this and that. I mean, I know the movies and the books inside and out.
You hear that? He's practically a Star Wars expert. He apparently knows the story and characters, but he also thinks the story wouldn't be changed if Anakin was gay.
I'm gay.
Like, okay, dude. He also says he knows the books inside and out. What books do you think he's talking about? It's not the expanded universe. He's talking about all the Disney novels. The Disney canon, because whether he likes to admit it or not, that is the canon to him.
No one cares about your junk canon. Just create good stories that we love, create the characters that we love, embellish the characters that we love, continue their stories, create Star Wars, make it great, make it what it was.
He says no one cares about their junk canon, but he does care about the canon. The Disney slop canon that isn't real Star Wars. It is to him. He doesn't care about their canon, but he wants them to continue the story and create stories about characters he loves in their Disney canon. Does he even know what he's talking about?
They'll never learn, and we'll continue to be pushed towards the prequels and originals. That's all it is. That's all that'll happen. That's literally it.
The original trilogy and the prequels, because outside of Disney Star Wars, that's the only thing that's canon to him, including Filoni's dumb Clone Wars show. But as long as Disney makes shows and movies that he enjoys, he will be perfectly fine with calling their canon the real canon of Star Wars. What a complete dickhead. He needs to get over himself. He needs to learn how to read, so he can read the real Star Wars canon, and he needs to stop fence riding. That's all I had to say about this bald bitch. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.